Third Phase of Moon. My name is Blake Cousins, and we're live taking your calls from around the world. If you've captured anything amazing yourself, report it right here live. The number to call in is 347-934-0378. We received videos just 4 days ago from a man who claims he's been abducted by aliens, and he has the proof right here. And we're sharing incredible videos, photos that he shared, and we're happy to say that we did interview him. We posted up a video a few days ago on Third Phase, and you, the people, complained that the audio was bad. And I had to say, the Skype we had was absolutely one of the worst Skypes we ever put on Third Phase. The information didn't get out like we wanted. Ed had some important things to say, and now everybody's going to hear this exclusive interview that I had with them via Skype, along with new material. Everybody, right now, go to Third Phase of Moon. Take a look at our promotion for this radio show. There's the pictures when we post this radio show. There's going to be more photos that nobody's ever seen before that Ed shared with us right here at Third Phase of Moon. The callers are building up right here at the switchboard. We got area codes calling in from around the world. 914-604, area code 818, area code 207, and area code 347, and not to mention others. We're going to get to everybody that's calling in live. But first, I wanted to get to Ed's incredible interview that we had with him. Let's get to that.
Okay, Blake, this is from 4 months ago when I was traveling alone. The experience happened again. It was like the last time. The car stalled out, and I knew, like the last time, let my feelings go. Now I will come back home. The starcraft, which I call the Ark, fallen from the sky, slow and massive. Felt like I was rising to it.
What do you mean rising to it?
Well, this is when I got my camera, when I felt like I was rising to it. I knew the feeling from before. And I reached for my camera and I took a few stills, and I used the photos to capture the best quality that I could, because the HD video just doesn't cut it. And Blake, the Ark covered 100 meters. It was the whole sky. It covered up the horizon of the moon, every 100 meters. So now I turned on the video, and I captured the moment when the ship turned off its lights, and the white light escaped from the middle, right in the middle of the Ark. It's that path of white light. This is when I was taking a ship on that path, and this has happened before. And to tell you exactly the way it feels, I think the last time, I don't know if you can hear me better tonight, but the last time I called, I told you that it's kind of feeling you might have when you're driving to work. It's an event that happens in your life. It might be a memory that happened at events, or a dream, or something as real as getting up in the morning and putting your boots on. An event that happens, you have a memory of it, it becomes this thing. People always ask, what's it like in the ship? Well, simply, it's illuminated. It's just lights, the lights you're not familiar with. The walls, if you want to call them walls, are bent, they're curved, there are no edges. And the smell, well, there is no real smell, but it's a smell that you've never smelled. It's just a different sense. And that's what brings the memory to go back again and again. So the voice comes as it always does, my contact boss. These details always seem to fade, but the message, wake up, and it's over. It's happened again. What are you left with? It's not like suddenly you have the answers to everything. Just that this has happened again. And Boss is my contact.
Who is Boss?
Boss is my contact that I've had experiences with now, dating back some 3, almost 4 decades. And I wouldn't even say it's a relationship. It's a relationship that you might have with someone else in life. When you meet, you don't really know that person, then maybe you do know them. He's my contact. I don't know what he is or what he wants with me, but I've never been harmed. I've never been adversely affected.
You're saying that some of the spacecraft has edges that aren't connected. Could you go into more detail?
More detail, sure I can give you more detail. You're looking at the video that I sent you, and from there you want to know what it's like on the inside and what it's like in terms of the light. The only thing I can tell you is that it's nothing like you've ever experienced before. But somehow there's something familiar about it. There's something you're not surprised about it. Is there a fear factor? Certainly is. But I've had these experiences before, and you can see from the video that I sent in that this is real.
Why do you call it the Ark?
That's just my description of what this is. This is a major vessel, not a small craft, not a transportation device. This is a large vessel. It's almost a world of itself. It's so massive. I have a close friend that I've had for a long time that I used to live in an area in the southeastern area of the country, South Carolina, near the Rockies. And he now lives in California. He contacted me, and as he does every so often, and he let me know that you folks were out there and that this was a forum that I might be able to share this information with, because frankly, I'm not one talking about this all the time. It's not that I'm embarrassed about it or I'm ashamed about it or either way. It's just it's part of my life that's been happening for a while. And it seemed on my friend's recommendation that you folks, Blake and Brent at Third Phase of Moon, were the place to bring this information to. Yeah, I'm not all that too familiar with the audience out there or who has what footage or not. I know there was some programming back a couple of decades ago on network television that had some footage of this kind of phenomenon. I just know that I'm not the only one who's seen this and experienced this and traveled and had this kind of contact. I'm not the only one who has this kind of documentation with my still photography archives and the video that I've shot from different formats dating back to super high 8 from VHS to Betacam and stuff where today is off the phone pretty much. But I guess the point I'm trying to make to you, Blake, is that I don't think that this makes me special. I don't think it makes anybody special. I think that this is what our world is today and for a long time. I don't think this is a new phenomenon. I just think that the amount of people we have in the world, as they say, the world's getting smaller. This is just going to be more commonplace. Well, I appreciate your interest and I appreciate the opportunity. I have footage. I mentioned last time when I was on with you. I have footage dating back to the 1970s. I never looked to market this stuff. I never found this to be a pathway to share. And I'm not a newspaper man. I'm not a journalist. And there is some negativity that comes with walking around and telling people what you've seen and showing them your photographs and videos. I've seen the negative side of that. So I've never been one to go out and share all the stuff that I have. But you sound like good folks and good people and good place to do this. And I'd be happy to share with you what I have. And it's kind of motivating me to kind of go through all my stuff and see what you'd like to see. I'm going to share with you.
Ed's going to be sharing what he says. He's been capturing these things since the 1970s, Super 8 photos, all the way up to HD. It's happening to him present day. These videos are and photos, like I said just earlier, are some of the best videos and photos ever submitted to Third Phase Moon. We're always looking for videos and photos from around the world, and the best way to share it is contact us via Skype or Facebook, and that's how Ed got in touch with us. We're going to calls right now. People have been standing online. Everybody, thanks for holding. Let's go to the first one that called in. They've been holding on for about 25 minutes now. Area code 914, welcome to Third Phase of Moon. Tell us where you are and what's your name?
Hi, this is Ryan. I'm calling right outside New York City.
Ryan, welcome to Third Phase. What's going on?
Oh, it's great. Just as far as that gentleman's testimony, between, the video footage and what he had to say, it seems pretty convincing.
We had some, a lot of people were complaining that recently we had an audio interview with him, and it was really broken down, and we're really glad that Ed came out, and we had a clear perspective from what he's saying. We're hoping we have him back. I think interview only lasted for a mere 8 minutes and 20 minutes. But what have you ever had a close encounter of your kind for yourself?
Well, I have seen UFOs in the past, and a lot of strange lights in my area, and also an increase in a lot of military helicopters, especially ones that kind of like patrol, a certain area, like a perimeter, kind of, where I live, and it's night and day that you see these helicopters patrolling.
Yeah, some people say this is a helicopter in the sky, this Ed footage. Do you think this is military? Or
I mean,
something?
It could be military. I mean, and it also could be a, military abduction in my lab or something to that effect. But did he mention as far as like what type of ETs he encountered as far as his abductions?
He was saying that he has an escort named Boss, and he didn't give much detail on that, but there is this incredible video that came out that he shared, and what looks to be like a creature or an alien.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't know what it is. He says it's kind of vague in his brain, and that's all we're getting out. That maybe under a hypnotic regression. I bet you he'd come out with a little bit more detail, and we're we're suggesting that he does that. What did you find the most compelling about this interview you just heard?
Probably like the details when he went into, like how the ship looked on the inside. Like even down to like the smell, and the fact that he was saying, it was different yet familiar. I mean, if it's true that, this gentleman's being abducted, since the 1970s, being on the ship is becoming very familiar to him. So it's, kind of like strange and familiar to him at the same time.
Absolutely. There is this phenomenon as well. We've spoken to, I don't know, I would say maybe 500 to 600 abductees at least, and then we probably received 2,000 to 3,000 emails over the past few years, and people sharing their story. It's interesting with all these similarities that they have. It's a known fact that 4 million people are claimed that they're abducted every year in the United States alone, and there's something happening. It's not
absolutely,
and it's a good place. I'm glad Third Phase of Moon has this forum that people share this kind of information, and sometimes confess. People for the first time share their stories exclusively right here, and I think it's a great place because it's sharing it with the world immediately. We don't sit on this information. We're out to get it quickly. New York, stand by. Let's get some other callers right now that's joined us. Area code 604. Tell us where you're calling from, what's your name, and what's your opinion on Ed's interview tonight.
This is anonymous again. I found that his testimony and footage to be quite authentic. I thought he sounded very sincere, and it looked very real. But what I would caution against, though, like I've said before, is that I would caution against any sort of ongoing trust, because as I've mentioned right now, the ETs are using their electromagnetic technologies to mind control people and to torture people, towards to mind control them towards in an attempt to make them commit suicide. So I'm saying, like, if he's having ongoing contacts with a benevolent ET, I would ask myself, well, why hasn't his contact given him the basic information regarding what is occurring? Because if people knew what exactly was occurring, they wouldn't. The despair that sets in wouldn't set in to the degree it does, and they wouldn't end up thinking that the only answer is suicide. So I'm wondering why wouldn't, if he's having a benevolent contact, why wouldn't they give him any information pertaining to this?
Maybe that's that's a great question, Anonymous. And I remember you coming on the show, and it was quite a debate back and forth between you and this other gentleman. I forgot his name, but it got heated, and it was interesting. But people came to your side as well through the chats and on the radio show, so that's quite commendable. You came out and you're willing to come back on the show, and I like that, because you know that this is a place to share the information. These questions that you ask, definitely, if I get to speak with Ed again, these are more details that I would like to get from him. But in my opinion, I still really think that not every single, if these aliens are coming down here, obviously there's bad situations, and I'm still thinking that there's some good guys out there. It's just the laws of physics.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want a huge despair to set in regarding this. I think that there are probably nobody knows. I can't say myself that I know 100% for sure, but I just keep asking myself. The ancient Gnostics talked about these attacks. They called them archon attacks, and they said that one of the most dangerous components of them was not knowing the full extent and limitations of them. So I'm figuring, if there's benevolent ETs, why don't they come down and tell their contacts, they're attacking people with these mind control programs, with their synthetic telepathy, and they're telling people, they're torturing people, towards suicide, they're torturing people in an attempt to make them commit suicide, and they're also just torturing other people with these synthetic telepathy attacks and the microwave attacks. And I'm wondering why they wouldn't tell the other contactees, well, your life actually isn't in danger, because these ETs aren't allowed to outright kill people themselves. They want the person to do it themselves. So the attempt is to terrify them. So if people realize that, the government isn't coming to get you, there's not some organization after you, there's not somebody else after you, the despair wouldn't set in, and they wouldn't end, the despair wouldn't set in, and they wouldn't end up thinking that they have to take their own lives or something like that, and they would seek other alternatives, and they would seek some sort of coping mechanism.
Anonymous, I appreciate it. People are chatting right now, and we want everybody to chat in on what they've heard so far tonight. If they have any questions, by all means. And there's a flash chat. It's open. Let's go to other callers right now. Area code 818. Welcome to Third. And tell us where you're calling from. What's your name, and what do you think of Ed's testimony so far? And also, if you have a UFO sighting you want to report, go ahead. 818, you're live.
Who, me?
Dude.
Hello?
When she did the building, I didn't go because Loretta took her out.
All right, so you're on live radio, Third Phase of Moon. 818, you ready to go?
Yeah.
That was the day I had to work late, so I didn't get to see
I actually think the opinions actually the footage of Ed I seen pretty good.
818, can you get a little closer to the phone and where it's a little bit more quiet? We'd like to hear what you say. Go ahead.
I gotta go. I gotta even go to the bathroom.
Okay, we'll get back to you. 818. We'll get back to you.
All right. Get back to me.
Area code 207. Welcome to Third Phase of Moon. You're live on Third Phase of Moon Radio. What do you think of Ed's testimony? And have you had a UFO sighting yourself? And where are you calling from? And what's your name?
Hi, my name's Dave. I'm from Maine. I've called on your show before. I've also had abductions quite a few times in my life, from the age of 3 until about the age of 13. My mom's looked at Tom's episode, or Tim, and she said that the UFO that he was taking pictures of looked a little similar to what she saw out in front of the house.
We've had you on the show, Dave, from Maine. What do you think about? Have you looked at Ed's footage, and was it kind of similar to the craft that you were taking on board?
I don't remember seeing the outside of the craft. I remember being inside of it. But my mom says that it does look similar to what the craft did look like.
Inside the craft, his description. pretty similar?
Yeah. Yes. There's a light that you really don't know if it's a light bulb or what, but you know there's a light there. And it lights up the area where you're at, but beyond it, beyond 10 feet from you, it kind of fades away. So it's like
what about the smells in the craft? He was talking about.
Yeah, it had a real unique smell. It almost smelled like an ozone, sterile, but with like a Benadine smell, with also hydrogen peroxide. If you've ever smelled hydrogen peroxide, it's that weird. It just has a real unique smell. You don't really ever smell it other than, if you were smelling peroxide or Benadine. So I don't know if it's with the lighting, it's sterilizing you or what, but it's definitely a unique smell. Once you smell it, you know exactly, what it is. There's no difference. There's nothing that smells like it.
Wow, that's it's hard to imagine, but like you say, once you've gone down that road and you've been there, and it's basically a once in a lifetime, out of your body experience. You never forget things like these. They say that the sense of aroma could bring back memories from your young childhood, 30, 40 years later, depending on how old you are. That kind of sense of smell is a total recall in the brain, and I'll never forget it. Dave Fermain, stand by. I know that there's we have two abductees that are calling in right now, but I wanted to get these guys talking to each other, Anonymous and Dave Fermain, about their similarities aboard the ship and what the attitudes of the aliens are. But I wanted to see if we could bring back 818 real fast, calling somewhere, I think from Los Angeles. 818, you there? Area code 818, welcome to Third Phase. You still there? I guess we lost that connection. Anonymous, do you have any questions for Dave Fermain? You guys have both been aboard the ships, been in close encounters. Go ahead. It's a round table. It's open mic. And we have New York. We have everybody. The coast. Go ahead.
Yeah, no.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Is this 818? You there?
Yep, I'm right here.
Okay, go ahead. We hear you.
Okay. I know you're probably thinking I'm young. I know, honestly, but the pictures and evidence of he got abducted. This was pretty believable.
Say it again.
It's pretty believable. These pictures and videos. Sorry about the background. And I'm young. Yes.
Well, hey, thanks for joining the show. Hey, that's why we put these videos out. We have standards of what we're looking for when people submit their videos, and definitely Ed was pretty much right up on the top, and it's in your face. We're looking at it, zooming in. We're not seeing any CGI whatsoever. It seems very authentic. Thanks for joining us, 818. Now let's open up the round table. It was a little loud wherever he was calling from, but it's all open mic. Anybody who wants to chime in, go ahead about being aboard a spaceship and in regards to the alien agenda.
Like, can I just ask what the correlation is between what he was saying before about between suicides and alien abductions?
Yeah, sure. The correlation
Anonymous, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, this correlation is just the same beings who are conducting the abduction program, who are performing the abduction program, are the same ones who are also conducting an extermination campaign, and they're targeting people all over the world with their technologies, and synthetic telepathy technologies, and directed energy weapons. And they're either torturing these people or they are driving them to suicide with these weapons. So the same people, the same group that are conducting the abductions are also doing that. That's the correlation.
Now, what group of aliens specifically are you talking about? The Greys?
Well, when it comes to that, it gets kind of a little. It's a gray area because I mean, what we're dealing with, it could all be one group of shapeshifters. Nobody knows for sure. I mean, because they come in different forms. They come when the insect form, the reptilian form, the human form, and they've also they've been observed as changing form right in front of the abductee. So, I mean, it could all, if you take it to its logical conclusion, it could all be one group of shapeshifters. So
now, are you speaking from first-hand experience as far as your abductions?
Yeah. I've had they've entered my bedroom. They enter my bedroom on a regular occasion, and they're very threatening. And I've also had experiences where, it seemed as though I was on the craft, although they could have simulated this in my mind. I don't know, but they do enter my bedroom. Yeah.
Now, do you get a sense of like evil, like, or a demonic presence when these creatures come about?
Oh yeah, I mean, they're so evil. I couldn't even put it into words. I mean, they're threatening me. They're saying they don't want me around. They don't want people like myself around. And they as far as I know, and from what I've studied, is they feed off of human fear. And
so what New York just mentioned, and you basically agreed that maybe it's not an alien encounter that you're dealing with at all, but more of a demonic nature.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, in my case, it's not that's not the case because I've observed them as what's commonly described as ETs, the Greys and the reptilians, and I've also seen the craft. So I know it's not demonic, but I do know that these ETs can impersonate demons, and what people experience can be experienced. Yeah, exactly, and vice versa is also quite possible. But in my case, I've had physical symptoms, so I know it's not a demonic attack. It's ET. Yeah.
Dave Fermain, any opinion on this?
My experience, I've had abductions with the Greys, but I don't know them to be as far as wanting to have us harm ourselves or anything. My case is on a different scale. What I gathered, I was pretty much used as a test subject to see what we have as far as evolutionary-wise, on whether we have telepathic ability or the sense of how someone is feeling, empathy for someone else. I used to hang around with these alien hybrid kids and would play with them out in a field with a ship above us for light. And I gathered it was just as a means to simulate, them communicating with humans, or to learn how to communicate with humans, or to be more like us. I don't, my case is totally different than his. I've never had them saying to me to kill myself and they don't want me here or anything like that. I think I was more just a case subject, just to see how we've evolved, or what we've evolved, to.
That's fascinating, because most abductees, it's a lifelong experience. So if anything, I would say to the contrary, that, ETs might want to, keep these subjects alive as long as possible to complete, their programs, as far as, what I believe is a hybrid program.
Yeah, well, they're terraforming the planet to their suitability. So what they're doing is they're analyzing and observing all the people all over the world, and they're using some people that they could use in their long-term agenda, and people who they feel could integrate with the hybrids, and they're contacting them, and they're also targeting and torturing other people. I mean, I know children who are being targeting and removing other people who they see as a hindrance to their program. So I would look up the website aliensandchildren.org, and also Michael Mencken, because he's had to make protective gear for children. I mean, these guys are ruthless, and as you can imagine, they're extremely intelligent beyond our ability to understand. So they're running like a misdirection, duplicitous program where some people are being used for their program and some people are being removed. So you're going to see an escalation in suicides in the news. You're going to see people acting very strangely, claiming that they're being attacked by the government or some other organization, and they're getting some synthetic telepathy attacks. These are the ETs doing it.
Wow. Let's take another caller. Call it in right now. 347. On. Third phase of 347 is out of there. Well, let's see. You know,
as far as the other gentleman, as far as the hybrids in the field, can he answer where that might have placed? Was that on Earth, or was that just something that was on the ship?
Oh, that was definitely on Earth. It was a field not too far from where I live. I remember the field. Driving by it, I remember it.
And what were the hybrids like? Were they closer
the hybrids,
to humans, or?
They were a mix of both. It's like you take a half of a alien and half of a human and you put them together. They look like us. They didn't have ears.
So it would be like first generation hybrids? Because I know like each generation is, the more they mix human into the ETs, the more human like they become. But they had human hair.
Yeah.
Not as thick, and well defined as ours, but they did have hair on their head.
Were they extremely pale and thin and kind of fragile looking?
Yes, it'd be like a thin 12-year-old.
And as far as their eye color?
Their eye colors were a grayish hazel.
Okay.
Big.
There was a report out of Iran regarding U.S. interactions with the tall whites. So I'm assuming that's probably what the type of ET hybrids that you were contacted by. But I can tell you that these tall whites are the white-skinned, or related to the white-skinned grays. And if you do some research on the white-skinned grays,
yes,
they are
some of the ones that were first abducting me. Yes, were the small gray people.
Yeah, the Dow Greys, the white-skinned Greys, are absolutely ruthless. There's contact reports of them having cryogenically frozen human children on their craft, and in an attempt to animate their hybrid children with the human children's bioelectric field or soul energy. And there's also reports of Bellatrix Greys having just outright killed children in front of their mother. For people that they don't want here on the planet in the coming decades, they are absolutely ruthless. So, yeah.
Anonymous, it's interesting because I've spoken to, like I said, hundreds and hundreds of abductees out there, including Dave from Maine. Right now, we have, what your information coming in, the way you're saying it, it's the first time I've ever heard of this through your point of view. So basically, maybe, what am I supposed to think of that when everybody else's story is pretty much different, where I'm not hearing, I see where you're coming from. I would contact maybe Michael Mencken, like I've said, or contact the website aliensandchildren.org, because they are attacking children to the degree that the children need protective devices to shield them from these attacks. Yeah, we heard that. We're going to take now. Stand by. Area code 213. Welcome to Third Phase. Tell us where you're calling from. What's your opinion of Ed's testimony and what's going on tonight? Do you have a UFO sighting you want to report? 213, you're on Third Phase of Moon Live.
Yeah, I wish I actually came in a half of this 2-3 minutes ago, but I did see Ed's footage. That's what I'm calling about.
Absolutely, yes. We're going over that earlier. What's your opinion?
You guys got a beating drum there. How you put it? That's pretty. It looks very authentic, very sizable craft as you guys described, and yes, I do find that they are the Greys in that craft that wear the black jumpsuits, from my observation, and the way he was moving very professionally moving. You know, it wasn't like a wandering around movement. It was a more on business as usual movement going on in that craft.
Caller from 213, let me ask you, are you pretty good at spotting what's a real UFO and what's not, what's CGI? Are you pretty good at, looking at Hollywood, what's real, what's not?
I find the craft, when they do move around slowly or at still and then they dart off into the sky, there could be some CGI involvement with that, wandering around and dart off into the sky. These craft these days are not pretty much darting off in the sky anymore as they used to. They are pretty much just going about their business and drifting back into the outer atmosphere or drifting over to the Pacific region and descending into their bases over there.
Well, we got the the round table open. Third Phase Moon's live tonight.
I agree. I really believe that footage is authentic. I mean, when I saw it for the first time, I literally jumped out of bed and, just jumped on the computer to try to find more information about it. It really, struck me as being totally real and authentic. You know what? We're Third Phase Moon. We've been trying to get this video out to the major media, anywhere so it gets out to bigger people. Let's wake up people. This is probably the best footage out there right now. And the main media is not picking it up. We want people to analyze the video, blow it up, see if there's any CGI going on. We already did all that. That's why we put it up on Third Phase Moon, because we didn't see any. It's the absolute, whatever the guy's, he's filming something, and whatever he's filming, it's there, and it's in the sky, and to me it looks huge, and it's something I've never seen before. It's one of the best UFO sightings ever out there.
Yeah, they're gearing up for something right now. They're I mentioned this before. If you YouTube search or Google search sky trumpets, these strange trumpet sounds, these are ETs that are simulating the Book of Revelation. So they're playing the trumpets, and they're also behind a lot of these the flooding that's going on right now. So they're gearing up for something. I think they want us weakened before some sort of overt contact's made. So they're kind of pummeling us right now with
Mhm.
Yeah, and they're making appearances in their craft as well. Like, that footage looks very real. So yeah, they're gearing up for something. But boy, oh boy, when they don't want someone here, they sure show it. Yeah.
I think this are anonymous.
Yeah.
I feel that what you're describing, I think those were prearranged through the government, and they're tagged. Whoever they're taking, the evil ones, I think they've been tagged through a negotiation with the federal government and the U.S. Army military installations and corporations. So
yeah, I agree. I think that they've mind controlled. They've probably targeted certain factions of the government that were particularly weak-minded and lacked the will to see through the deception, and they've mind controlled them into using them as pawns. So yeah, there's definitely some sort of a collaboration. Yeah, I agree with that. But anyone who doubts how sadistic and evil these E2s are, just Google search Dow white-skinned Greys. And these guys also are seen in the company of reptilians who have and this is like very common knowledge, that reptilians regularly eat human children and they drink blood. So I mean, they're in the company of them.
Let me ask.
That's why you have a breeding process going on. And I think the breeding process going on right now is allowable in mass numbers. They're doing it specifically for that. The populace doesn't know why they're letting the breeding process just kind of run with as it may, without the proper birth control messages and, you know, the old messages behind contraceptives and birth control and disease. They kind of the advertisement on that is kind of, when it slows down, the birth rate speeds up, but the birth rate speeding up is specifically for that feeding and for more missing children. And I think the way to protect these kids is to find out the ones who specifically meet that criteria, find out the connection between the child or the type they're describing and that has been taken in the past, and maybe some type of connection they have, maybe a list or something, because there's got to be some type of code list or blood type, or now they're moving on to this ethnicity, and or maybe this, now the girls and now the boys, this age group. It has to be focused on and put that at the top of the list, alien abduction at the top of the list, because we know when it comes down to pedophiles and just perverts out there, we only get like maybe once or twice a year throughout the state of California, per se, a big mainstream story. So they're using that as just to sway the public, like, we're missing a lot of kids. Then all of a sudden those stories will pop up. Those satanic rituals will pop up, just to lure us to think that, wow, there must be a lot of perverts out there, and just to feed us that story is a diversion.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's interesting, the subject matter. The headline: aliens are here to eat our babies. Let me tell you, I'm not a total believer in what the conversation is going on right now. You know, we don't endorse everything being said right here at Third Phase Moon, but that's what it's all about. It's an open opinion. It's an open mic tonight. Let's take other calls right now from the world. Area code 281. Welcome to Third Phase Moon. Tell us where you're calling from, what's your name, and what do you think of Ed's footage that you saw on YouTube?
Are you asking me again?
Area code 281.
Oh, 281.
You there? 281. Anybody there? Live? We're live. Go ahead. Just that's the way it goes in Third Phase.
Well, you know,
the opinions are going off. Some people are actually saying things about why doesn't Ed release any more footage? Well, when I spoke to Ed, he says he has a lot of footage from the 1970s. That lasts for minutes, hours. He has a lot of footage, he says, and hopefully he's going to keep sharing it. He shared about I'd say about a gigabyte worth of information through pictures and videos. We got it out, what we have. You're going to see a few more photographs that we had in the archive that Ed shared that we're going to be putting on this exclusive radio show right now on Third Phase of Moon in the next 12 hours. It takes us about 12 hours to process this, put the videos through, and then get it up to YouTube where everybody gets to hear and listen and watch and comment below this radio station.
Well,
I think it's a quite incredible media. Yes?
If he follows through and delivers all that material, especially going back to the 70s, I mean, that would be incredible, and that would totally, back up his story 100%.
He's saying he has Super 8s, Polaroids.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Now,
wow.
This topic of, aliens abducting the kids and basically using them and pretty much like they're Big Macs or whatever, and they're just feeding them out so they could. It sounds like Soylent Green, straight out of a sci-fi movie. So that's what you're saying, Vince from Los Angeles, that Anonymous is right, that we're all aliens are bad and pretty much they're representing and disguising themselves as demonic beings.
Shooting the populace. Now,
L.A., you're breaking up a little bit. Trying to fix that frequency. Let's go to area code 702. Welcome to Third Phase of Moon. You're live.
Oh, I was just listening in on the station.
All right, cool.
On the conversation of what's going on about, the eating them and everything. Okay. If you want to know a little bit more, do a little bit more digging. Look at authentic stuff. Look at the biological sophistication of these beings. First off, look at dulce bass, first off. Look there. Then look over.
Bill Schneider.
Dulce Wars. 66 people ended up dead. Okay. And helicopters are known to fly over. Listen, I live between both of them. Area 51, what here in Nevada, Area 52, and I mean, I live right between them. I see helicopters going by every single morning. Okay. Yes, yesterday there was 3 of them patrolling over next to the mountains because somebody reported that there was like glowing fireball orbs. And my wife has seen them before. On the New Year, she was doing a party, and all of the neighbors had seen it too. She called me. I was in Tennessee at the time because I was in a college exchange system, and I had to do something there. But anyway, she called me, and she was frantic, and she said, listen, I had, it was New Year's. They thought it was, fireworks were going off and stuff, but she said specifically these weren't fireworks because they were glowing. They were, like, pulsating. And as far as, like, these things eating babies and stuff, yeah, there was probably sacrifices, and they drank their blood, and that could be conceived as eating a baby, but they use their organs for biological means of transplantation. I mean, more sophisticated than we could imagine. And yes, there were probably exchange networks that we couldn't even think of that was done between different races for different things, needs, just like we've done in the past. I mean, look at Western civilization. Look at what they did. They did a trade embargo. What do you think they're doing? The same thing. History is a system of repeating itself, even not just in us, in everything. So, I mean, I think it goes a little bit further than people could even realize. It's not Big Mac time, and they're not eating babies for lunch. And I'll close with that.
Hey, I'm kind of with you on that one. Let me ask you, have you seen this footage of that Ed supplied to Third Phase of Moon? This over the past few days, we've been posting it on YouTube on our channel. Yeah,
I do believe it's authentic. The tone of his voice, first off, the expression of his feeling, is how you can kind of sense he was aggravated, he's irritated, he doesn't like explaining it. This relationship is forced upon him. It's not something that it was like, you're going to do this no matter what. It's like a father. You notice how he called the guy boss. This guy is almost like, typically like a father figure. He tells him what to do. This is what you do. You have to do this with them, and this is, I have blessed you with this. Now you got to do this. That's why he's his quote-unquote boss father.
Wow. Anything else? What do you take away from the footage itself? Obviously, I think Ed's testimony, he came across, go ahead.
Very convincing, but the footage, I mean, you can tell between CGI and as far as the background and, the way the blocks layer and, I mean, all the detail, it's pretty, really, really, somebody has to be very professional as far as doing CGI on that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any CGI going on Ed's footage. Hey, appreciate you joining the show. I know you just wanted to listen, but wow, you just shared an incredible story. Your insight and opinion is important to us at Third Phase of Moon. I think that's what it's all about. 702.
Oh, and yeah, and I appreciate it. And you guys are doing such great work. And keep it up. Just keep the information flowing. Sometimes you got to redirect things sometimes, but, that's why it's an open forum. And thank you guys for doing such great work.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate your call-in in the last few minutes of our Third Phase of Moon live radio show. Wow, some incredible things were said. Some things maybe I don't want to hear about the alien contact. It was a big radio show tonight. And Ed was really gracious for joining us and sharing this exclusive details right here on the show. I wanted to get to New York and thank him as well for joining us. Any last words, New York 914? Thanks for chiming in. You had some great questions.
You could do with this gentleman is maybe have him sign an affidavit to his testimony, stating that this is all legit, his story is legit, the movies aren't CGI, and that would stand on its own.
That's a great idea. I'll ask him that when we speak to him soon, and appreciate that, and appreciate your calling in.
No problem. My pleasure.
Area code 818. Here they are. They're still at their party. Let's go to area code 604. Any last words?
Yeah, I just want to say that the last caller called in regarding the reptilians and the children. There's if you just Google search this yourself, it holds up. There's a lot of accounts of it. They practiced ritualistic sacrifice of children in the ancient past, the Mayans. But that's up. If people want to disbelieve or disbelieve, that's their personal opinion. That's their right. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. That's you're exactly right. It's everybody's opinion right here at Third Phase. 207. You got a few seconds. Any last words?
Just on the on what the reasons why they could be taking children. I was born premature back in '76. I was only 6.5 months in the womb, and now I have a rare form of epilepsy where if I get hurt, my body throws way too much adrenaline out and I OD on it and I have seizures. I don't know if that was a natural disease that I've gotten or if it was from them doing testing on me when I was younger. But there might be a correlation with why they're abducting people. Maybe all these children that were abducted were born premature like me. Maybe they're looking for children that can be born at an earlier rate than a normal human being. And so instead of 9 months being born, you're born in 6 months instead for a faster reproduction fact. Or maybe they took me because of the rare form of epilepsy I do have. I don't know. They never told me what the reason is for taking me and abducting me. I wish I knew. It'd be a lot easier to explain my abduction experiences.
Well, those are good questions that you're asking, and I hope one day you'll find the answer, and we will all find the answer. I really want to thank everybody who joined the conversation tonight. Everybody knows Third Phase of Moon is the top YouTube channel in regards to the phenomenon because it's people like you that share their incredible videos, share their stories, share the insight, the character of what it's like to be abducted. We don't have the answers here. We don't claim we do. We're trying to find out, and I think we're all on a big journey together. Everybody keep your eyes on the skies, and if you capture anything amazing, submit it to Third Phase of Moon via Skype or Facebook. My name is Blake Cousins, and we'll see everybody again next time.